I want to start with an apology and a correction. Wales is in fact a country. I apologise to my countrymen and women. As a Welshman myself, I should have known this, that Wales was known as a principality for hundreds of years, but de facto became a nation, non-territory in 1999 with the creation of a Senedd. Officially, it didn't not become a principality, so it is a bit muddied there. But essentially, Wales is a country. I apologise. I hold my hands up, and I learn from my mistakes. So today, I want to go over a video, the new podcast from Jimmy the Giant, where he spoke to Gary's Economics about class, inequality, and many topics. Go and watch the video after this. But I want to talk about the optics of labeling reform voters racist, because I'm a bit of an enlightened centrist on this. I'm somewhere in the middle. And this is quite a divisive topic because, well, let's get straight into the video and talk about it.
And I was saying it's important not to like go and point fingers and say like these guys are a bunch of racists, you know what I mean? Which is, I've seen a lot of people sort of saying this kind of stuff, and I've been pushing back against it. And what I said to him was, look, okay, you know, we work in this area of like talking about politics, understanding politics, explaining politics to people. Most people are they're busy, right? They're living their lives. They're not politics experts. They recognize, you know, problems in the societies around them, and they worry about them. They want them to get fixed. And it's the job of people like us to explain to them what is happening.
But then again, that's the same thing. It's perceived fairness. So from their perspective, because of what they're being told, this is why I have the same opinion as you. I do see there is definite racism and there's definite far right people. And I think mainly the influencers, mainly the politicians, they're deeply far right. But I think a lot of people are being duped because they're being told there's an unfairness being committed against them, which is that people, if you come over, so you go and work a hard life, you go and do your job and you're getting shit, and then you're being told endlessly, relentlessly from every angle of the media that people are coming over on boats and getting luxury hotels, getting a phone and getting good wages. So if that was true, it would be unfair. And so that's where that thing of fairness, I understand their emotions. It's just, unfortunately, that isn't the reality. They're not being treated like that. They're not like having this luxury life.
And this is where I have deep sympathy and empathy with the people who are being fed this constant cycle of propaganda across the board in mainstream tabloids, online, on Twitter, and of course that's what you've been fed. And I'm somewhere in the middle of this because I think you have to have empathy, you have to listen, you have to take a broader sociological view of what's happening. And racism is a complicated thing, and it's easy to boil it down to the individual, but I think we have to step back and look at the systemic causes, historical causes of racism. And then also at the same time, I think we should be criticizing people. I think we're dealing with adults here. I think we should be able to push back against people, because I think for Farage, he has said a lot of racist things. He's reiterated, this is from Hope Not Hate, support for Enoch Powell. While his language may seem out of date, Farage has said his principles remain good and true. He's also claimed, I would never say that Powell was racist in any way. Had we listened to him, we would have much better race relations now than we have got. That's incredibly racist. Farage has elsewhere agreed that with a section of the Rivers of Blood speech claiming that the basic principle is correct, and has even recited sections of the speech from memory. He's recently defended Sarah Pochin's comments, which were racist. Lee Anderson was thrown out of the Tory party for Islamophobic comments. Nigel Farage has got a history. I could go through it, but just Google it yourself. Problematic comments. And I think on one level, you have to, the same with Trump, you have to either be okay with racism, which I think is a semantic difference. If you're okay with racism, racist comments, you kind of do support racist, I think. I think we have to be honest about that and go, okay, if you're okay with these comments, where is that line between supporting? But also at the same time, the distrust in politicians. 4% of the British population trust politicians to tell the truth. And I think it's more of a symptomatic thing, like fascism is. People aren't inherently evil and divisive. It's historical tendencies inequality is the big one that creates these divisive stories that kind of just emanate from this. Like fascism is capitalism in crises. And we're seeing that we've been seeing this over the last decade with Brexit, with Trump, with the divisive rhetoric that's been increasing over the last 5 years. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I think we should have empathy, understanding of these people. Don't jump to call them racist. If they defend the racist things people have said, I think we should be able to call that out, but take a broader sociological view of why figures like Farage become powerful. And I go between the two, and there's a contradiction there, but I think we can do both. And I think Jimmy does that as well. I think Gary's clever in he wants to embrace all people and go, actually, no, like, I understand you're hurting, you're in pain, you're struggling, really struggling. People are. And he wants to bring as many people over. That's his job. That's his job. And I think that is positive. And I agree with him on that. So it's not a black or white issue.
But that's what they do. I think the media finds where there's tensions of fairness or like unfairness, perceived unfairness, and then they keep talking on that. So I think that's how they attack it.
I think what especially the right-wing media does really, 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 really well when it tries to undermine, especially people on the left, is usage of wedge issues.
Yeah.
So a wedge.
Yeah, you see this with trans issues, like trans women, men in sports, massive one. That's all they go on about. What is a woman? And it's powerful because intuitively to a lot of people, it is unfair. It doesn't make sense. But when you look at the data, the evidence, consensus, academic, medical consensus on a lot of these things, it's not that controversial. And the right are really good at it.
Issue, very, very simple. Very, very simply. A wedge issue is any issue which divides your opponent from the audience. So, this is just me and you here, but like, say there's an audience here and I want to like take you out. I'm going to think, what is the issue upon which your emotions and your feelings
will be at odds.
At odds with the audience.
Yeah.
And I would just come in and say, the thing I want to talk about is this one thing upon which you disagree with the audience. And here's a great example. So I went on Piers Morgan, right, earlier this year. And I don't want...
I mean, Piers Morgan embodies that, right? He is all about the gotchas, those clips, what is a woman, immigration, and I cover his videos because I think he needs to be called out. And I think Zach did an amazing appearance where he actually brought nuance to it. And I think it is possible to bring nuance to these things. And I think Zach did it really well. And I think that's why he's a powerful force. But it's all about that trap. It's all setting up a trap.
Piers Morgan, you probably won't be surprised to hear that. But he was running late and I had to sit in the green room for an hour, right? And so I had to watch the interviews that were going before me for an hour. So I was in the... And you could see they run like a really standard format, which is they want to get the most sort of loud, dare I say, sort of like hysterical sounding, like left-wing pundit. And they want to get them to say something outrageous. So they had someone on who was like a gender rights activist, and they wanted to get this gender rights activist to say that she didn't think there should be a female category in the Olympics. And they just kept trying to get her to say it. And then she was like, yeah, there shouldn't be. No female. And that's it.
And it's at odds with...
Job done. And I think, I see a tendency on the left sometimes to point fingers at people who might be voting for reform or at older people and say, you are the problem. You are the problem. You know what I mean? And I think as soon as...
I do see that. And I try not to do this on the channel. This is why I focus on, and we'll end here. I try to focus on the demagogues, the Konstantin Kissins, the Piers Morgans, the Andrew Gold of the world, because they are the ones that are really powerful. They have huge reach, huge audience numbers. And these are the people who spread this misinformation. Tommy Robinson. These are the people who we should be calling out. I have a lot of sympathy for even Tommy Robinson fans. I do. And that may upset some people. People who are being fed lies constantly, propaganda, constant misinformation about immigrants or trans people. And this is the project of this channel, is to just, in my own little way, call these people out because they are destroying our country. They are. You've got like a couple of dozen people who are very powerful, setting the narrative, and we've got to fight back against that as much as we can. And I think Zach is really good at that. Gary's clearly good at that. Kieran, aka Jimmy the Giant, is really good at that. And we all need to do our little bit. So go and watch the rest of the interview. It's really good. Hour and 7 minutes. Really good. A lot of good discussion here. Really important focus on class politics, inequality, generational divide, all stuff we need to be talking about. If you enjoyed the video, join the membership from 99 pence a month. Again, apologies to my Welsh brethren, sisters, and I'll see you in the next video.